In the last class we saw Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrut Deva Pujanam. So when you are working, you need to understand that you have got an opportunity, you have got ability to work. There are many people who do not have that opportunity. Just observe physically how many people are challenged. And even if there are people, those who have everything, but they might not have the means or they do not have mental ability. And even if people have mental ability, the surrounding may not support. The situation, the means may not support. So if you put everything together, whatever you have, always in comparison to others, you are far ahead, far better place. So that's why looking at you, looking at your means, you should not feel uncomfortable, you should not feel insecure. So that's why bringing the God, the totality in life makes a big difference while we are living in our day-to-day life. So when the totality comes, here totality is being represented, as I told you, 5 elements, as he said, 5 elements, and of course sun and moon, and any given aspect of the deity looking at as one's own self. Here we looked at little differently, 5 elements with the Ishwaraha, the concept of Ishwaraha as Antaryami, as Hiranyagarbha and as Virat. So that can be presented in any form, makes no difference. It can be a human being, it can be an animal, it can be a stone, it can be a tree, it can be element, it can be anything and everything. So when you start worshipping God in any form, that means you cannot say that you are away from the God, the totality. Because the so-called people, so-called religious people especially, what do they say? They say that these are the God, these are the place of God. Then rest of that is mundane. That's why they divide. This is called spirituality, that is called mundane. In reality, there is nothing called spirituality other than taking the spirit. Okay? And there is nothing called also mundane, remember. But unfortunately they divide. Why? Because for them God is somebody's pocket. You can understand? So God is somebody's pocket. So that's not the right. That's why he tried to present the 5 elements, sun and moon and your presiding deity. And if we extend further, anything and everything that one worships, that one relates, is called God. Then what happens? Without your knowledge, whatever you do, that becomes a ritual. Remember, this is a beautiful point to understand. When you work maybe out of insecurity, out of sense of fear, loss, or you can say the sense of duty. Again, sense of duty is nothing, somewhere a sense of fear. But when you work, that duty is not a ritual. It is just a duty, it's just work with a bundle of emotions. Whereas here is being highlighted, whatever you work, all your work must be converted into a ritual. Because in every religion there is ritual. For example, you, let us say, bringing church here, you go to church just to move around to see. You go to the temple just to move around to see. because your friend called, because somebody called, or what not. So out of sense of guilt or sense of loss, whatever, you go to the church or temple. That is called sense of duty. Now, for example, let us say, especially in church case, somebody has passed away, your dearer ones, and where you are a part of it. Now you also go to the church. Now when you go to the church, the attitude is entirely different. Whether you like it or not, there is a surrender. Even though you are the smartest person at that moment, you are the most powerful person at that moment, but the moment you enter, the moment the priest starts taking over, whether that fellow is the dumbest fellow in the world, remember? And you know personally, let us say. That fellow is the dumbest fellow in the world. You cannot stand with that fellow for a minute. But that time, that fellow appears in front of you. I am appointed to do this ritual. Even though you boil within, but that boiling cools down in few seconds. Have you not observed? You start trusting the person. You start surrendering that person, even though you know the person is wrong. Why it happens? Just observe this phenomenon. Actually, that attitude changes your way of looking. The mere action becomes a ritual. So that's why your job is to convert anything and everything into a ritual. That's why in Hinduism, which is nothing but the expression of Vedic knowledge, because Hinduism cannot be separated, because there is nothing called Hinduism, but let us accept, okay, as per the Max Muller, okay, I don't have any other choice. So you cannot separate Hinduism from Vedic knowledge. The idiots, so-called thinkers, forwarded, I call them forwarded. They say, oh, Vedic knowledge has nothing to do with Hinduism. I think you must be really forwarded fellow. Because Hinduism is nothing but the expression of Vedic knowledge. We have example, for example, truth. How can you relate with truth? Is it possible to relate with the truth that easily? But we have in Hinduism Lord Rama, who is personification of truth. The moment we look at Lord Rama, his activities and all these things, for us it is very easy and convenient, even for a child, to associate with the truth, to understand the truth, to relate with the truth. This is all about Hinduism. That's why your job is how to convert any action that you do into a ritual. That's why while eating, for us eating is a ritual. In Hinduism, eating is a ritual. That's why we don't talk, we sit properly before eating, we wash our feet, face and everything, and of course after no choice, not with the tissue paper, okay, it's not allowed. And moreover, we don't talk, because while eating food you are not supposed to talk, which is dangerous. But everything and anything and everything, they say very nicely, this is called Western thinking. Western thinking means West way of thinking, okay. So what is that? Anything and everything can happen over dining table. That was a statement by one of the biggest, let us say, authority. However, coming back, so eating can be a ritual, bathing can be a ritual, walking can be a ritual. Anything that you do is a ritual. In fact, we go to that extent. Breathing also we convert, even though it is inevitable action. It is involuntarily action. We convert breathing also as a ritual. That's why the yogi do. That is what the secret part of yoga, which generally we do not talk. So here, to convert anything and everything or every work into ritual, so he brought this Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. Now, question will arise. Okay, I understand puja, but also you said japa. Pujanam, japa, chintanam, kramat. You divided the work into three categories. So one was physical, second one oral, third one was mental. So under oral, you brought japa. Now what is all about it? So that is what we chanted. Let us chant once more. Uttamastavat uchamandata Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam Uttamastavat uchamandata Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam. Says that if you look at japa, as you know, japa means chanting a given name or given mantra for a number of time. Please understand very carefully. Chanting a given mantra for a number of time. Generally 27 times, 54 or 108. There is also reason behind it. Because why we do 27 or 52 or 108? Generally 27 or we go straight away. Because in Sandhya Vandanam there is difference based on this being done. Because we have 27 nakshatras. If you look at the horoscope, so in horoscope we have 27 nakshatras, what we call star. So because we have 27 nakshatras and each nakshatra has got 4 charanam. So that means automatically it becomes 108. So when you chant for 108 times, that means all the nakshatra, all the stars are being taken care. So that's why we say very carefully, the japam is supposed to be done with a given mantra, not picking up mantra. Each word is very careful, okay? With a given mantra. You don't have right to pick up a mantra. Because if you pick up, definitely it works, not that it doesn't work. Being karma, it has action. But after some time, you start questioning yourself, you start doubting yourself. It doesn't work. I have seen it with people. That's why the mantra has to be given, even though you know the mantra. Because everything is nowadays available in Google, everything and everything is available, okay? There is nothing secret now. So that's why when you receive the mantra, then you will not be able to doubt after some time, number one. Number two, the mantra must have a meaning. Not a meaningless mantra, because you know one group made popular meaningless mantra. And they are also perverted logic. Because all, every logic is there. The way you put the logic, don't worry, we say in market anything and everything can sell. Because there are different types of buyers. I do not know whether you have observed or not. I have really spent some time to observe. Especially I have observed with reference to, I am talking in my teenage time, I have observed all these things. So I used to go to market just to wait and watch in one place. So that time it was my fancy, okay. There's all sort of things I have done. One of the things I have watched is like, this eggplant, brinjal, okay, country, not this nowadays hybrid. So, country, this brinjal. In India, we call brinjal, okay, not eggplant. So, what happened is, because when they bring, I'm talking about those days, only fertilizer, there was no, only compost, there was no fertilizer. And the truth is, the reality is, if there are insects, means there are holes, black holes somewhere, that means that brinjal or eggplant is perfect. That is eatable. If the insect, because this is the trick of buying vegetables, if the insect does not eat, that means it is not eatable. Because this trick I understood later on, okay, with after spending a lot of time watching them. Because sometimes I said, okay, can you give? Then that fellow will make sure, okay, somewhere one hole at least will be there, will give. He said, what? No. If there is one hole, that means it's the right vegetable to eat. If insects can eat, that means it's perfect, because insects always attack the best. And of course, nowadays, because of pesticides and whatnot, there is no insect, because they kill in such a way, nothing will be available, okay? So inside also there will be nothing. What you eat also will create all your germ and bacteria, good and bad both, okay? Coming back. So in that vegetable vendor, not vendor, it's actually I would rather say is a farmer. Because there is a big difference, vendor and farmer. So we'll keep it. Now each one will come. We'll start, trying to collect the best. So let us say 50 kilos were there. So first fellow comes and takes 1 kilo, best. Second, now 49, second one best. Now we'll discover there will be 10 kilos. Also the person will start looking for best. And finally whatever 1 or 2 kilos will be there. That time I remember, this is vegetable, the farmer will say, okay, please take it. Whatever you feel like giving, give, or don't worry. In fact, there will be a buyer for that. What I am trying to say is, everybody is looking for the best. And everybody also get their best. How it works, I myself do not know, but it works. So that's why, please understand, if you want to get the best in this way, that means you are a mediocre person. But if you really want to get the best, take the help of a mantra, and which has a meaning, because the word mantra says, Mananat Trayate iti mantra. By contemplating which, in the beginning, by repeating which, you feel protected. At least your worries and anxieties does not take over you. Your insecurities does not get repeated or does not become really worse at all. That's why we always highlight, take a mantra. So once you receive a mantra, then you start dwelling upon, first you start repeating. And he says beautifully, this mantra repetition can be in 3 ways. And that too is in order. So the first one is chanting loudly. So when you start chanting loudly, at least not to show up like there is a group, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Prabhuji, aap kaise hain? I'm not telling you jokes, okay? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. See, if you do that, nothing wrong in it, okay? It's good. But in between, suppose you go, Prabhuji, they will call everybody Prabhuji, okay? Prabhuji, how are you? What are you doing? Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, please, are you doing Japa or you are trying to cheat yourself and others? I'm sorry to say. Because this group destroyed the concept of Japa. Okay, at least they have brought a change because they converted hippies into curious people. They have contributed, no doubt in it, because that is how the Hare Krishna movement was taken over by hippies. Because hippies were tired of everything. Because they went to those days in 70s, they tried everything, nothing left. Then what to do? They were looking for some change. And luckily, and it clicked, you understand? I'm not telling you jokes. It is like we say Sanjoga, right time, Sanyoga time, it really clicked it. It's not a point, our point here is, doing japa loudly is allowed. Why we do japa loudly? That we have to understand. Because the concept of japa is, in life, whenever especially you are disturbed, same thought keeps repeating, keeps bugging you. What you call repeating means bugging you. When the same thought keeps repeating, you get bugged. Have you not observed this? Like my example of this ancient days, that a player record, okay, that a big plate will be keep moving. If there is some scratch, because I have done, so that's why I'm telling you openly. Now I can admit, okay, what mistake I have done those days. So look, we are tired of, because I remember one song, because those days mainly songs we listen to through the loudspeaker in India. There was no tape recorder and other things. So then that fellow will put only that song. It's so tiring. I don't know why. In fact, nobody likes, but he used to put. What I did is, okay, take a particular nail, little scratch over. Then what will happen? It will go one line. Then fellow will never put that up. At least for a change we enjoyed, but this is not right. Okay, coming back to our topic. So here if we observe how that player goes and stops, again never goes to next line, next track, not line, next track, is stuck. Same thing also with reference to your insecurity. Same thought keeps coming and coming. You understand? Even if you want to get out of it, never happens. Have you not observed? And the worst part is, you also keep repeating to others the same thing. When you are visibly disturbed, please understand, there is mentally disturbed. Second thing is also visibly disturbed. So once you are visibly disturbed, what happens? You keep repeating the same sentence, almost the same sentence, many times with reference to one person and of course other person. Have you not observed this? That means it is a truth, it is inevitable that repetition of a given thought happens without our knowledge in our day-to-day life. And whenever any thought gets repeated without my knowledge, without my interest, without my effort, that creates pain, that creates worries and anxieties, that creates all sort of disturbances in my life. So how to handle that? So we say very carefully that if there is a thorn, how to remove the thorn? Thorn has got inside your body, in your feet or somewhere. So how to remove that thorn? You need to take the help of another thorn. If there is no thorn, at least a needle. Can you see? Unless you take the help of a needle, which is another thorn, will you be able to remove the thorn? So also when the repetition happens without your knowledge, because of many factors, that is not our topic today, then you need to repeat something consciously. So repeating something consciously is called a japa. Can you see this point? So when you start repeating consciously, all we discussed that it should be a given mantra, and mantra has to have a meaning. Not calling, that's not right. Okay, I don't want to get into in details. It must have a meaning, okay? And interestingly, when we do the loud japa, why we do loud japa? Generally, we suggest while doing japa, you are supposed to keep your eyes closed at least. Because, as you know, The moment you close your eyes, 70% of your brain starts taking rest. That's why when you have a headache, you just close your eyes, you get relief then and there. Even if you take medicine or whatever, if you keep eyes open and you try to engage yourself in many things, headache will not go that easily. Whereas while taking medicine, if you shut down all your sense organs, it heals faster. And of course, if you are smart, lucky enough, shut down all the sense organs. Without medicine also, it will slow down. So now, when there is a big issue in you, repetition takes place, unnecessarily your mind, your brain, okay, is being, brain means your engine, okay, engine is heated up. Now you do Japa and keeping your eyes open. What does it mean? So parallel track, you understand? Like in those days, okay, we had a radiator. How, what sort of radiator? There was no coolant, nothing. So we used to pour water. And after going some 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, and especially in summer, I remember, in those days there was no air conditioner, nothing in the car, but so hot. Then what happens after 50 kilometers is too much. You have to open the thing and pour the water. When you pour water, you have to be very careful because boom. So now if you look at like that, so that's why the parallel does not work. I remember somebody kept it, one something and water will keep pouring inside that bonnet. I said, hey, this is dangerous because much more dangerous this is. So that's why what you need to do here is, when there is a disturbance, close your eyes, start chanting loudly. So when you start chanting loudly, you are not afraid of the present situation. The present situation is being taken care by loud chant. Two things happens. Not only mentally you are being protected, also you create a vibe. You create a vibration which spreads, because taranga, after all, sound is a taranga, wave is nothing, again energy. So you create a energy over there. That's why you are, oh, already time is flying, huh? And secondly, what we do is, when you chant closing your eyes, only closing your eyes, loudly, without your knowledge, you will discover your focus sometimes will come to your throat region. Inevitably it happens. So we say, the moment you start focusing on throat region, the disturbance of the mind gets settled down then and there. This is yogic trick. So those who have seen this Shiva Samhita, we have discussed in details. So it is, we have discussed in Shiva Samhita clearly. So that means here again, the moment you focus on your throat region, because what happens when you keep eyes open and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, you cannot focus on your throat, right? Only throat will keep moving, okay? But you cannot focus because wherever eyes they are, and also not that Prabhuji kaise hai? When you say Prabhuji kaise hai, where is your focus? On Prabhuji or on your throat? It doesn't work, okay? Then as you are comfortable, once you settle down mentally, you need to shift from Uccha Japa to Manda Japa. So when you say Manda Japa, in Manda Japa, murmuring sound can come. And the murmuring sound is exactly, especially ladies are very capable of murmuring, okay? other person cannot hear. All dissatisfaction, okay? All words will come out, but the other person cannot hear. But they expect others should understand, okay? How is it possible? I don't understand. So how you do murmuring, that other person understands you are doing something, but will never understand, okay? Never, not supposed to. But you continue. Same thing also, exactly Manda Japa is called murmuring way of Japa. Nobody knows what Japam, what mantra you are chanting, but you yourself know it. That means during that time, the external factors does not matter to you. But the internal disturbance still is a predominant in you. Can you see this point? You need a ventilator. So you need to vent it out. So this Manda Japa works like a ventilator. You just vent it out. That's why Japam to be done in one place, being seated. We say very carefully, Japam is not supposed to be done hanging around, moving around. Not allowed, I'm sorry. And also Japam must not be done in different places. Today this place, tomorrow that place, and day after another place. Sorry. Technically we don't prescribe. In fact, our book on Japam is there in details. So I think I should gloss over because already we have a book, I forgot about that, okay? More of it we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes.